Today is Thursday, November the 8th, 2012. Following the elections of the historic re-election of the 44th President of the United States, President Barack Hussein Obama. Yet here in Valdosta, Georgia, our only daily newspaper, the Valdosta Daily Times, headlines on yesterday did not even have a picture of the President of the United States of America. And today's paper, Thursday the 8th, there is no picture of the President on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. And we respect their rights to publish and to do as they please. After all, they own the newspaper. However, on yesterday, a historic, the first black African-American president, pictures were nowhere on the Valdosta Daily Times. The headlines on the front page read, Obama, 4 more years. And of course, an article by Associated Press special correspondent David Espo. Then further within the paper, the Valdosta Daily Times, on page, way back on page 10-8, a picture of, well, this is the picture that is published in the Valdosta Daily Times. Once again, we give home to Moody Air Force Base, Wild Adventures Theme Park, and many other newspapers around the nation, but not here in the Valdosta Daily Times. I find that to be kind of interesting. But then again, when we look at Moody Air Force Base, it's 23rd Rescue Wing, where our sons and daughters must face to go into combat, and there's not even a picture of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces on the first floor within the command section of Moody Air Force Base under the current wing commander at Moody Air Force Base. Now, yesterday in the USA Today, the front page cover page said, Obama triumphs. And today, of course, in the USA Today newspaper, we will see post-election divide surfaces. And it says what to expect of 4 more years. And of course, this is in Valdosta, Georgia. Once again, home of Moody Air Force Base, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Valdosta State University, Wiregrass Technical College, Kendaloo Golf Course, Francis Lake Golf Course, Georgia Military College, home of Titletown, USA in football. But when it comes down to what many other newspapers have published, not so here in Valdosta, Georgia. What does that mean? This means that when 50 years from the day and people want to know what happened, and they pick up the Valdosta Daily Times, they'll look at the front page and they'll see the day following the elections, the historic landmark of the first black African-American president. No different from the other 43 all-white male presidents in our beloved nation. But the day following the election, nothing on the front page. And on the day following the election, just a writing about he won the election. But USA Today, our national newspaper, have captured for all archival records history for our children in the future. And it will be recorded. I went online this morning and I saw in China and in other foreign nations, on the front page of the newspapers, including in Kenya, in Africa, and other locations on this planet Earth, the front pages were Barack Obama's picture, and in several that I've noticed, and I got them recorded, I'm gonna cut another clip, to show that there is something gravely wrong here in South Georgia, Valdosta, and those who controls the predominantly and most published newspapers in the state of Georgia. So we just want to bring this to your attention. I was sitting down at a local restaurant this morning and it was being discussed. And nobody is surprised by the editor and the publishers and the presidents of local newspapers here in South Georgia, not only in Valdosta. Wherever you find the publication within the Valdosta Daily Times, those who create these papers throughout, it's mostly always the same. So this is why I have been saying, and others have been saying out of Macon, Patrick Davis and others out of Atlanta within the civil rights circles, that there is something gravely wrong here in Valdosta, Georgia, a metropolitan city. But we are going to continue, along with 5 to 10 other bloggers and YouTubers, we're going to try to keep the American people informed. We're going to let you know that the Old South may not just be so new as some may think. Once again, the history and the archival record will be maintained at Serenity Museum and other locations here in South Georgia to set the record straight and let our children and coming generation understand that there is something wrong under our form of government wherein we can go and fight for this nation, for the rights and freedom of others, free speech and freedom of the press, only to return home to America and see and to hear the people in uniform at the Moody Air Force Base, much like the Valdosta Daily Times. I am told by those who are stationed there, not even a picture of the President of the United States on the first floor within the pictures of the command, chain of command. I've talked to officers up to Lieutenant Colonel. I've also talked to the Vice Wing Commander, and I have also left message with the Secretary of the newly assigned Wing Commander at Moody Air Force Base. I have also talked to the Personal Affairs Officer, a Lieutenant, and yet there is no response that we can pass on to the people from the base, both civilian and military, that have addressed their concerns to the local NAACP here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia, and yet there are no answers given. There are no publications in the Valdosta Daily Times concerning this, and we want to keep you informed because I put 20 years in the United States Armed Forces, and as Paul Harvey would say, I want you to know the rest of the story. Bye-bye. We gone, and by the way, it's November the 8th, 2012, here in Valdosta, Georgia. It is what it is, and this is the truth of reality. Nobody can condemn me. Nobody can say that I'm lying. Nobody can say that I'm wrong. And everybody will acknowledge, I believe, of average intelligence, that those who sit behind the newspapers, it's their newspaper. They can write and do what they want. We as Americans must speak out and exercise our rights to let the world know that we do not approve of what we see. When our sons and daughters go into combat, they are not Democrat, they are not Republican cracks, they are not independent cracks, they are not Green Party cracks. They are just Americans concerned about the country that they love. And like myself and many others, we put our life on the line to defend this country from both foreign and domestic enemies, only to return home to Valdosta and witness how the President of the United States picture on election, a historic event, was totally ignored as far as we compare foreign newspapers with the newspaper here in Valdosta, Georgia, home of Moody Air Force Base and many, many, many retired military veterans. We believe that it is a disgrace. It is indeed a disgrace to all military veterans. Once again, my name is George Foster Rhymes. Do what I do because I believe the citizens have a right to know under our form of government. Peace be unto you, and may God forever bless the United States of America. Bye-bye. We go.